Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are here for the third annual State of the District, and this is an opportunity for us to tell you about the good things that are going on in our school district. If you are viewing this at a later time on our website and you have any questions, please don't hesitate at all to contact us. We would be happy to answer them. We have a variety of topics that we will cover this evening. If there are any questions about any other topics, we of course are welcome to answer those. And if we don't know the answer, we will certainly get back with you when we find the answer. I would like to take a minute to introduce those who are presenting this evening. And so to my right, you will see Mrs. Elisa Barrett, Director of Instruction, Mrs. Lindsay McNeil, Greenfield Elementary Assistant Principal, Mr. Bob Shum, Greenfield Elementary Principal, Mrs. Heather Drotwa, Director of Special Programs and Preschool, Mr. Randy Clausen, McLean High School Assistant Principal, and then we have two members who were scheduled to present this evening that are ill, and so they're unable to be with us, but I'd like to recognize them. Mr. Bradley George, our Transportation Supervisor and Safety Director, and Mrs. Maggie Lyons, our Rainsboro Elementary Principal. Also this evening, we have with us Mr. Matt Shelton, McLean High School Principal. He will be offering tours after the session this evening. Also present with us is Mr. Jesse Mitchell, our Technology Director. And we also have two board members with us here this evening, Mrs. Rachel Fraley and Mrs. Marilyn Mitchell. Also, I'd like to take a minute to thank Mr. Drew Hamilton and his students for assisting us with recording the session this evening. So first of all, just some facts about our district. We share these more for people who may not be as familiar with the district, and even if you are familiar with the district, you may not know some of this information. But we do have 3 elementary schools in our district, along with a middle school and high school. We are approximately 164 square miles, and that actually covers 3 counties. Our enrollment is just a little bit above 1,900, and then we also look at different percentages of our student population, and so 2 percentages that often come up is our population of students with disabilities, which is 16%, and then our economically disadvantaged students, which is 53.5%. On the slide, you'll also see our address and phone number for the board office, just in case anyone would want to make contact with us. One thing that people who aren't familiar with the district may not know, that we do have a dual bus route system, meaning our elementary students do ride separately following our middle school and high school students to school in the morning. And we'll talk a little bit more about some transportation facts later on. Our district vision is a legacy of leadership, and basically what that means is that we as a district believe that any student or staff member has the ability to be a leader in whatever their role is in the district. And then finally, I would like to read the mission statement to you. It is stated as the Greenfield Exempted Village School District provides students with academic, social, and emotional support to produce leaders who will be well equipped to serve as positive, self-sufficient, contributing members of society. And so we do take that mission very seriously. We do work to provide supports for our students in a variety of different ways, not just academic. Next up this evening, we have Ms. Elisa Barrett, Director of Instruction.
Hello. I'd like to share a little bit about our curriculum and instruction that we have in the district. Preschool through 12th grade, we pride ourselves in using high-quality instructional materials. A lot of work has been done throughout the district to select high-quality instructional materials that are aligned to current state standards, and our teachers work extremely hard to use those materials with fidelity. Our district is currently learning about evidence-based learning strategies, and another presenter will be sharing about our visible learning here in a few moments. But through that work, we are really working hard to instruct our students with strategies that has research and evidence behind it that prove that it's most effective for our students. You'll notice on the slide that it says data-driven instruction. So our students are assessed in multiple ways throughout the school year, and those assessments are used by teachers and administrators to track our students' progress, as well as to look and see what areas of instruction and the standards that they need to work on to successfully complete their grade level and their content area. At our high school, we are increasing our college credit plus opportunities, and so we have several courses that are here at the high school in which students can earn college credit while taking a high school course. And so that's extremely helpful for our students upon graduation, where they are leaving our campus already with some college credits. And then we also have partnerships with local universities in which they can take these CCP courses online at those universities. We believe very strongly in continued professional learning. So our staff engages within professional development several times throughout the year for a whole day together as a district staff here on the main campus. But then on a monthly basis, our principals are leading their staffs in monthly professional development sessions where they learn about evidence-based strategies and make plans for how they're going to use what they're learning in their classrooms. In 2021, Ohio passed what's known as Ohio's dyslexia law. And so there were a lot of changes that our district needed to make to be in alignment with the requirements of Ohio's dyslexia law. So in 2021, Ohio adopted what's called the Ohio's Dyslexia Guidebook. And this guidebook provides guidance for us in testing that we need to do for all students in grades kindergarten through third grade, so that we are pre-screening them to see what reading difficulties those students have and how we can intervene to prevent those reading difficulties. And then if students continue to have difficulties, then we further screen and instruct those students so that we can dive down deep and see exactly what area they need to work on and learn to be able to read. Right now, we are working extremely hard in elementary buildings to strengthen our core reading, foundational skills instruction for all learners. And so what that means is with our high quality instructional materials that we've purchased for what's considered core instruction, that means that all students, no matter what difficulties they might have or disability they might have, they are receiving grade level reading instruction. And then through our assessments that we're giving to our students, we are finding which students need extra support. And so some are needing just a double dose of the core instruction by a teacher in a small group setting. And then others need some gaps filled in their learning. And so that is what we consider Tier 3. And so this year we have a brand new Tier 3 program called Really Great Reading. It is focused on phonological awareness and phonics, and our teachers are finding it's very, very successful for our students who are needing some of those learning gaps filled. One of the main components of Ohio's dyslexia law is training for our teachers in the science of reading and as well as dyslexia. So currently we have 44 teachers and administrators that are almost completed their 2 years of training for what is called LETTERS. And LETTERS stands for Language Essentials for Teachers of Reading and Spelling. It is a very in-depth professional learning opportunity. As I said, it takes 2 years to complete, and upon completion, our teachers will be certified in LETTERS. And so this training teaches our teachers how to instruct students using evidence-based strategies, as well as being able to really assess our students to know exactly what they need to work on. And finally, we hired this past year 2 reading specialists for grades pre-K through 8th grade. And these 2 individuals are past teachers within the district, Mrs. Tammy Holler and Mrs. Leah Unger. And they are working on a daily basis to coach and support our teachers and our students in reading instruction. So if you have any questions about Ohio's dyslexia law and the district's plans for implementation of that law, please reach out to me at any time and I'd be happy to answer your questions. So I will turn it over to the next presenter, Mrs. Lindsay McNeil.
Good evening. I am going to talk a little bit about visible learning, which Mrs. Barrett has just mentioned is a focus in our district. The purpose of visible learning is to provide clarity in learning for teachers and for students. Our administration, district leadership team, building leadership team, and teacher leadership teams are responsible for implementation and monitoring of our plan. We are currently in the 3rd year of our visible learning journey, and this year our district is focusing on feedback. So we're doing that through monthly teacher professional development sessions where we focus on highly effective feedback strategies, and some of those strategies deal with different types of feedback. So we may do teacher to student feedback, which is a pretty common one that we're familiar with. We also do student to teacher feedback, and then peer-to-peer feedback, where students are working together to grow as learners. Our overall goal is to create self-assessment capable learners who have skills that allow them to be successful beyond the walls of our school. So all of these different strategies and routines that they're practicing day in and day out in the classroom will be something they can take with them to college or to the workforce once they leave our district, which is a great thing for our school. Next, we have Mr. Shem.
Good evening. As an elementary principal, I'm most excited tonight to get to talk about what we're doing for teaching children appropriate behaviors and skills that they can take out of school to be successful in their lives. This is all part of our visible learning plan that Mrs. McNeil just talked about and Mrs. Barrett. Also, for the last 3 years, we've been implementing learner disposition. These are 5 skills that we're teaching children, and they are to learn to be engaged, to focus their efforts on learning, to share ideas, as Mrs. McNeil said, to give each other feedback, and to be able to actively listen and interact with each other. To continuously grow, and that's making them what we call self-assessment capable. They're learners who know where they are in their learning, what they need to learn, and what they're going to do next to be successful. The students learn to take ownership, to be responsible, and to be ready to learn, and to persevere, to, when the going gets rough, to really dig in and give your absolute best effort, and really leads to our embracing challenges and facing challenges that come up in their learning and in life. So these are skills that they can carry over. That's our big initiative that goes with visible learning. We also have what we call PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention Supports, and this is one of my most favorite pieces because it is proactively teaching students proper behaviors, teach them kindness, respect for others, taking care of themselves and their communities. And so in the PBIS, everywhere students go in the school, in the cafeteria, in the hallways, in their classrooms, they learn the expected behaviors and how to interact with each other with kindness and support. The students then, after they're taught explicitly these behaviors, they practice them all day long, every day. It's something that never ends, that we're always reminding them of. And instead of giving students punishments, we often give them opportunities to practice the behaviors that they're struggling with. And then finally, we support them and we reward them for their efforts. There are classroom rewards for going above and beyond in helping others and supporting others, and there are also school-wide rewards. All buildings in our district have these rewards and systems. Some of our systems look a little different, but they all can include the same components. So I think you can see why this is exciting to an elementary principal, that we're giving our children a start in interacting and being kind and treating others with respect and care. Our next presenter is Mrs. Dratwa from our special programs.
Good evening. Hello. As Mr. Shum said, I'm Heather Dratwa. I am the Director of Special Programs. The Office of Special Programs wears many hats, some of which include IEP compliance, talented and gifted, and also preschool, which I'm an early childhood person myself, so I love that I get to interact with preschool. We currently have 136 preschoolers enrolled in our program through 4 classrooms, 3 at Greenfield Elementary and 1 at Rainsboro. The students attend 4 days a week, 4 half days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and there are AM and PM sessions. And we do that basically so we can serve as many children as possible, because having an early childhood opportunity in a classroom setting with peers is so very important to their development. We do provide transportation also, which is another great thing that our district can do so that so many more children can have that opportunity in an early childhood setting. All of our preschools are 5-star rated, and Step Up to Quality is a rating system that the Ohio Department of Education started about 10 years ago, and they give between 1 and 5 stars. And I'm happy to say that Greenfield preschools have always been 5-star rated, and we are able to maintain that 5-star rating, which is something to be very proud of. It takes a lot of work from our teachers and our staff to make sure that we're providing the best opportunities for children that we possibly can. And even though we're still in the middle of this year and actively doing so many great things in the preschool, we're already planning for next year. So everybody needs to mark their calendars for a preschool roundup. If you wish to enroll your child in preschool, we do hold that roundup in April 18th from 4 to 6:30 at Greenfield Elementary, and April 20th from 4 to 6:30 at Rainsboro Elementary. We encourage you, if you're thinking about preschool at all, to come with your child, get to meet our staff. We have some questions for you. We have forms that you have to fill out, and we just encourage that. It's a great way to get to know our programs and for us to get to know the children who may be coming. If you have any questions, you can always contact the Office of Special Programs, and we are located in the back of the middle school. Again, contact Special Programs if you have any questions about preschool. We're very proud of our program, so and are always looking for new students to enroll in the program. We still do have space, so I believe our next presenter is Mr. Clausen.
Thank you. I'm going to talk a moment about student attendance. In 2017, the state of Ohio passed House Bill 410, which established specific guidelines for attendance in public schools. They specifically defined 2 categories of attendance: excessive absences and habitual truancy. Excessive absences consist of excused or unexcused absences. It's any time that a student is not at school, that would fall into the category of excessive absences. Okay, and so what does excused and unexcused mean? An excused absence would be an absence that a student goes to a doctor's appointment, dental appointment, some kind of medical appointment, or within the first 65 hours of school, having a parent's note. A parent stating that my child was sick, because not all illnesses, you wake up with a fever, necessarily means you're going to the doctor for an appointment and you'll have a doctor's note. So a parent note would suffice for those first 65 hours, which at Greenfield District, it would equate to 10 days of school. So that would be an excused absence. An unexcused absence would be an absence where a student returns to school without a parent note, without a medical note. There's no reason that we know of that they were not at school. So that would constitute as an unexcused absence, or an absence that a student would have, even if they did have a parent note, that was beyond the 65 hours. So like if the 11th day of school comes and the student is absent, or the 11th absence, that parent note would fall into the category of an unexcused absence and not an excused absence based on House Bill 410. So the habitual hours are those unexcused. And when a student gets to 72 hours for the school year, or 30 consecutive hours, or 42 hours within a month, that student falls into the category of habitually truant. And that would constitute a meeting that would have to happen with the school administration to come up with a plan, and it's an attendance intervention plan. We want to sit down with the parent, we want to sit down with the student, identify the issues that are causing the habitual truancy, and create a plan that will improve the attendance to prevent any kind of other issues that may happen with truancy and juvenile courts. So that is what the House bill does. Now, completing work, makeup work when a student is absent is not the same as being in class. We've just heard from our previous presenters of all the amazing things that are happening in our classrooms with visible learning, assessment strategies that our teachers are using in the classroom to assess where a student is in their learning, giving feedback to those students, and those things all happen in the classroom. It's a rich and engaging environment as we're working with our learning dispositions and our visible learning and our high-yielded strategies. And so just doing that makeup work, while it helps you get the grade, it does not help you get the true depth of learning that you would have by being in that classroom experience. Now, we do know that there are situations where students may need to miss more than normal. There's unexpected situations, and if you're in that situation and your student needs to miss more than those usual days, we highly recommend that you get in touch with the school, stay in touch with the school, talk to them about what's going on. That would help us create a situation where we're going to be proactive and maybe set up some kind of situation with instruction at home, online options, our Google Classroom platform that we're using throughout the district, that we can help keep the student connected to the learning through that duration that may be happening. But staying in touch and communicating is highly important. Why is good attendance so important? First, it keeps kids on track academically. As we said, it's a rich environment that's very engaging, and staying on track, getting that assessment, and adjusting the learning where that student is keeps them on track to be successful. It prepares kids for adulthood. We all have schedules, we all have responsibilities as adults, and meeting those responsibilities as a student helps prepare our students for that as we come. As we talked about, our vision is to prepare our students for adulthood and be contributing members of society. Our district is also measured on the state report card on our attendance. So it is a measured piece that the state keeps track of all the districts. And so it's important that we stay on track and keep our students in attendance at our highly engaged school. Our next presenter, Mrs. Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Clausen. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we do have a couple of presenters who are unable to be here, so I will be presenting now for Mr. Bradley George. We do think it's interesting to share about our transportation program because not everyone realizes the complexities of that program and what goes on a daily basis. So just some facts, we do have 17 regular routes, and so going back to the fact I shared earlier about having a dual route system, that is 68 routes that run every single day. Every day there's just a little over 2,000 miles traveled by our buses, and we transport just right around a little bit over half of our students by bus. And then, as Mrs. Drotwa mentioned, we are able to provide transportation for our preschool students, and so we run 5 preschool buses Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then Wednesday is the day off for students during the week. During last school year, our transportation team completed 225 trips. That team is made up of 17 contracted drivers, 2 mechanics, 1 bus office assistant, a bus aide, supervisor, and 5 sub-drivers, and 3 van drivers as well. We do also operate vans and other vehicles in our district for students who may have needs to travel independently to their destination. We will be advertising for sub-bus drivers and quite possibly some full-time bus driver positions for next school year. So we actually will be rolling out that advertisement here probably within the next month. There are a lot of good, strong team members in our transportation department who can help someone who may be new to the idea of driving a bus, who just may be interested and want to learn more about it. In the realm of safety, our district this school year actually has received 2 different school safety grants, which we are very excited about. And some of the features that we are looking to enhance include adding an outdoor PA system, additional cameras, lighting, signage, additional door security. And so we're excited about the opportunity to, again, enhance the pieces that we already have in place. We feel very good about our safety system, but there's always ways to improve. And so we were very excited as a district to receive those grant dollars. I'd like to talk next about our facility development. Our district does have a strategic plan when it comes to our facility development and the steps that we go through in order to plan what happens next. If you have viewed this presentation in the past, you will know that this is pretty much the same slide. And the reason for that is because you're able really to see progress in regards to the projects that we have going on. So you'll notice there are 2 check marks up there. We have 2 large projects that have been completed in the past couple of years. And then next in line is our practice field development project, and we are very excited to be moving forward with that. We are in the process now of securing a construction manager, and that process will actually be finalized here in the next few weeks. And then we're looking at groundbreaking at the end of February, beginning of March, of course, weather dependent. And we'll take a look in a minute at the next slide, and that will give a visual of what that project will look like. You'll notice too on the slide that in the next step we are a work in progress, and I'm excited to share this evening that we are in the design phase of the 32-acre property that our district owns just north of the campus. Our team members have been working together to really hone in on what we want that property to look like, and so for the athletic portion of that property we are adding baseball and softball fields and a soccer area. In addition to that, on the northern part of that property, there has already been demolition completed for the old structures that were there in order to construct an outdoor learning area that will be used specifically by our FFA program. So again, we're very excited to be taking that next step in the planning process for an upcoming project. The design of that area will actually be shared next Monday on the 23rd at 7 p.m. during the board meeting. So we're excited to have the architect firm come and present where we are in the design process. And so we would welcome anybody who is interested in seeing that to attend the board meeting. And again, that will be on the 23rd in the high school cafetorium at 7 p.m. So we'll go on to the next slide. And this is a picture of what the practice field will look like when the project is completed. Now, I will share that there have been some slight changes, just minor things, really more in landscaping and those types of features. But a couple of things that I do want to call your attention to is that we wanted to make sure that the building had what we call a school feel so that it matches the buildings here on our main campus. And so you'll notice the brick on the outside of different sections of the building. You'll also notice that there are sidewalks where there are not sidewalks currently, and improved parking, and also new basketball courts. The ones that are there are used often, but they have deteriorated over the years, and by many people's accounts, are unsafe to play on. And so we look forward to being able to update the courts and provide a safe playing area for people in the community. The final thing I will say about this project is that it was really a team effort. So all of the people who will be utilizing this area, including transportation, maintenance, board office staff, the band, athletics, they were all involved in the design process. So that way we're able to get feedback from everybody who would be utilizing the space. So next I wanted to share a little bit about our district wellness committee. Before COVID, we had a very strong wellness committee in place. And then during the past couple of years, we've had to steer away from the work of that committee, basically because we've been focusing on COVID protocols and maintaining being able to, be face-to-face in school. And so we have kind of rejuvenated the committee, and we're working with the Dina Health System to put a plan together with goals and action steps to be able to support not just students, but also staff in different areas of wellness. So it's not just about physical wellness, but it's also about nutrition, mental health, social-emotional health. And so some of you may have participated in a survey that came out first at the end of last school year and then for some at the beginning of this school year. So in our plan, we're taking feedback from our students, from staff, from parents about what they see as the needs are in regards to wellness. So far, we have been meeting monthly and working on activities and steps that we can utilize to build just overall wellness in our school community. One thing I did want to share is that we decided actually in this month's meeting that we do want to bring back the Family Fun and Fitness Night. Some of you may remember that event. That is something we hold for our elementary families in the fall. And in the past, it has been very well attended, and it's just been an enjoyable evening for our families. And so we're really excited to be able to partner with Adina to be able to bring that event back. It's a great time to come out, enjoy some active time with your kids, and then also hear and receive information from a lot of different providers that come and support us on that evening. The next slide highlights a variety of different types of communication tools that we utilize at different times and in different ways throughout the school year. And so when you look at this list, I would say probably the first 8 or so are really open to anyone in the community. It's not just parents and guardians. The Coffee and Crumbs schedule can be found on the website, and that's just an event that I do where I go out and eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner in the community and welcome people to come and ask questions. Radio spots on WVNU is something that a lot of our team members take place doing, over the school year, and those occur once a month, typically the last Tuesday of the month at approximately 8:10. One other thing that's not on the list is that we are connected with the community calendar that is new and up and going now. So our events that are on our district calendar automatically show up on that community calendar. So, if you access that as a community member, you can also see what's going on in the school district. And then the final 3 tools in the list are specifically for parents and guardians, and so we always try to give reminders to make sure to update us and final forms, which I know if you're not a parent, you're not going to know what that is, but we have to have current phone numbers and email addresses because we do send a lot of information out, and it's important as parents and guardians that you receive it, but to receive it, we have to make sure your information is up to date. Finally, at the bottom of the slide, the most important thing is to ask. I know as team members here, a lot of times we will hear something about the district and we'll say, well, well, where did that come from? Or that doesn't make any sense, or that's not true. And so we would really prefer that if you hear something that you ask us. We're always willing to answer questions, and we would much prefer to answer a question and provide clarity instead of someone sharing false information or being concerned about something. And so we're very open to questions. And again, we would prefer that you ask if you have any questions or concerns. So with that, that concludes the event for this evening. We would like to thank those who came. We want to thank our students, staff, parents, guardians, and our community, because it really takes all of us together to make a positive impact in our students' lives. And so, it really is a joint effort. And just looking at the words of Edward Lee McLean as promising the greatest good to the greatest number for the longest time, it takes all of us together to be able to do that for our students. And so again, we appreciate the support that we have. We encourage you to become involved, ask questions, come to events, and just learn more about our district. We feel that we have a lot to offer to our students and our community. So again, thank you.